Hi, I'm Elise and this is Which Way. It's been 2 years since I started this channel, and thank you to everyone who has already come along for the ride and subscribed to my channel. I've also had some really great recommendations. I've watched over 100 witchy films and series over the last 12 months, so now I will be taking you through my top 5 movies and top 5 TV series that I've watched during year 2 of Which Way. In no particular order and based purely off of my own enjoyment, I have made sure there is some variety in here, so hopefully you will find something you can enjoy too. Starting out strong, I finally got around to reviewing Practical Magic. This gorgeous 90s mixed genre film follows the lives of 3 generations of the cursed Owens witches, particularly the sisters Sally and Gillian, who are 2 sides of the same coin. One embraces their gift while the other just wants a normal life. However, they have to work together when a man is accidentally on purposely killed and a detective arrives to uncover the truth. I'm pretty sure everyone who watches this film falls in love with the Owens home. This film has a beautiful witch aesthetic going for it, and it's the only time I have ever preferred the film over the book, being based off Alice Hoffman's book of the same name. It's not that it isn't good in itself, they just have a very different vibe. Still worth checking out though, along with the prequels. My next film on the list is also based off of a book. The junior novel series WILDWITCH by Lena Cabrabol spawned the gorgeous adventure film adaptation of the same name. The young Clara explores her new abilities as a wild witch, connecting with her voice, the land, and its creatures, though she still has a lot to learn. This film has a beautiful, dare I say, wild vibe with gorgeous shots of the European landscape, and I really enjoyed the fantasy elements and character development. Earlier this year, I went into the history of the Hansel and Gretel witches, and there was definitely a standout film for me here. Gretel and Hansel puts a different take on the fairy tale, with the witch teaching Gretel her craft. There is, of course, still a dark side, and this horror film has a gorgeous, eerie aesthetic, and the acting is on point. Alice Creech is just perfect for this role. It was hard to choose my favorite Hansel and Gretel film. It was either this or Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, a fun action comedy, but this one won out in the end as I already have another witch hunter action film on this list. The Last Witch Hunter. Vin Diesel portrays Calder, who is essentially an immortal bounty hunter sent after witches who break the law by the Witch Council, who ensures witches aren't abusing their powers. But now he teams up with a witch to stop something bigger. This is a go-to if you are after something entertaining, it's visually stunning, and I love action movies, so throw some witchcraft in there and you got me. Vin Diesel has always wanted to return for a sequel. There have been rumors, but nothing is set in stone just yet, but I'm not giving up hope. The final film on this list is the classic adventure musical, The Wizard of Oz. Inspired by the book of the same name by Frank L. Baum, it tells the tale of Dorothy, a young girl who is whipped up into a tornado and transported to the magical land of Oz, where she encounters strange creatures on her journey to find her way home. Among these, of course, is the Wicked Witch of the West. This is a timeless classic and still holds up today. Definitely worth a watch, and I hope to do a video in the future about the Witches of Oz, perhaps just in time for Wicked the Musical's film release next year. Moving into series now, and I'm starting with brand new Cherry Flavour. Yes, I've talked about this one before, but you really need to watch it if you haven't already. Set in the 90s, an up-and-coming indie director goes all in to curse a producer who did her wrong. I loved this series. It was gorgeous, but also had me completely disgusted by it in parts and just cringing. It gets really weird, but in a good way. Gotta love those 90s vibes, which you also get in my next choice. The Charmed series. Using the power of 3, the sisters known as the Charmed Ones unlock their magical abilities to defeat evil and vanquish demons. It has a great opening title sequence and a lot of fun episodes, but not all the seasons make this list. The writers changed and there are some repetitive themes that can get tiring, but if you go into season 1, 2, 4 and 5, you will have a good time. You might not have a good time with my next choice though if horror isn't your thing. Marianne, a beautiful French series which follows an author who has nightmares of the witch Marianne. These nightmares inspired her to write about the witch, but the lines between fantasy and reality blur and fiction becomes fact. I loved this series. It was disturbingly beautiful and the characters were very well written. Marianne is truly terrifying and torments the author throughout the film. I love the fact that the group have to figure out the mystery of Marianne before she gets to them. Up next is Motherland Fort Salem. I actually started watching this last year, but I didn't finish it until this year. Motherland Fort Salem puts a completely different spin on the Salem witch trials. The government made a deal with the witches, and they are now obligated to serve in the military to protect their country, but sometimes from their own. The world that has been created here brings witchcraft to the mainstream and flips religion on its head. Unfortunately, I still don't have access to the final season here in Australia, but you can bet there will be a witch lore review when I do. Finally, we have Archive 81. This horror series is shown through a series of restored videotapes which tells the story of a woman trying to uncover the truth behind mysterious goings-on while documenting the history and the lives of those living in an apartment building. We see it from both the perspective of the creator of the tapes and the one restoring them, who starts to question his own sanity throughout the process. I loved the occult details in this film and its creative storytelling, and it put a whole different take on the found footage genre. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who made recommendations so far, and please feel free to leave yours in the comments below. You can follow me on social media for some additional content, but please remember to like this video, share to anyone else who you think might enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you very much for watching here on Which Way.